Let's look at how things are working on ground in the wake of this lockdown here. Remember, the government has said that essential services will continue to be available to everyone across the country. But there is the fear of the spread of coronavirus. And what is this spread? What is this fear causing? It is causing several shops which are selling essential goods to shut down. This is a report coming in from Srinagar. Let's get in further inputs. We have with us our correspondent Mir Farid with us with those details here. Mir, this is going to be extremely difficult for people if the fear of corona spreads in the manner in which even essential services shops are now shutting down.
Well, yes, that's right. The mechanism needs to be evolved, and these are early days. The shutdown has just started a few days back, and slowly the intensity is increasing. What the people are asking is, though, there are certain items that have been added to the Essential Services Maintenance Act. That also includes obviously, there are medical shops, but then there are also shops that give daily needs or provide or help in fulfilling daily needs of the people, like grocery, like vegetables, fruits, milk. People are asking how do they get them, because if there are restrictions, the people are not being allowed out. So what is the mechanism the government has to ensure that people get all these things? The government yesterday came out and said that there will be home delivery of ration. At least 2 months of ration will be delivered to the homes of the people in Srinagar at least, and they are really working on that particular mechanism. But what about right now? What about the daily needs of the people? So there is clarity that is needed as far as people are concerned, because since today, Seher, the first case wherein a person died of COVID has happened in the UT of J&K. The person from Srinagar who was diagnosed with COVID and unfortunately passed away this morning. So obviously after that, restrictions have been increased in the sense, and they're trying to tell the people that this is the time when you will have to go for complete isolation, and that is something that the people are trying to heed to. But these question marks remain as far as essential supplies are concerned. Right now, as I speak to you, only medical shops are open in Srinagar, and probably in some interior areas there could be things could be better as far as people getting these supplies. But as far as towns and where strictness is
Right.
more, people are not getting those supplies. So these issues remain. On the other hand, sir, you have medical professionals, you have paramedics, doctors who are crying foul about protective gear. They say that while the government says that crores and crores
Right.
have been immediately released to fight corona, but for them, who are the first line of defense against this deadly virus, they are not getting protective gear, and that's why we've seen every other day you have new doctors, paramedics who are being sent into quarantine for getting in touch with corona patients without the protective gear. So that is a big issue that the government will have to deal with
Mir, this is a very
ASAP,
important
because
point that
we're
you've
talking
raised
of
here.
the corona
In
warriors, we're talking of the
addressing
first
the
line of defense
concern of
against corona.
PPP, which is a protective gear here for the doctors who are absolutely in the front line. And this is what the finance minister today said as well, in calling them corona warriors. Uh, uh, can you give us figures of the demands that have been raised? This is coming across from how many hospitals in Srinagar, and what is the kind of shortage that we're looking at here?
Well, we there are people who call us. I've got messages on Facebook, on WhatsApp, people saying that their identity should not be revealed. But these are paramedics, doctors who say that they are absolutely open to such a virus, because there are patients who are coming. They do not know who has that symptom, who is a corona positive. They're just dealing with them as patients, as normal patients, and they have absolutely no protective gear. You need hazmat suits, you need proper masks, you need all this protective equipment if you have to deal with corona patients. And otherwise, if you have doctors and paramedics who catch this infection or are susceptible to this, we already know there are so so many of them who have been sent to quarantine. So who will deal with this? Who will treat these patients? That's the big question. And we've seen every day almost there's a list of doctors and paramedics who have been told to go into quarantine. So this is something very deadly, and the government should immediately, first of first, buy such equipment for these doctors,
Absolutely.
ensure that they are absolutely given all the protective gear so that they can treat this disease head on, or this virus head on. Otherwise, you have this thing in these doctors who say that they're also human beings, they have families. How can they really deal with this without the protective gear? So the government needs this, owes this to the doctors, and they should come forward and do this ASAP. Otherwise, this health infrastructure, if God forbid there is an outbreak, it will crumble like a cookie. So you'll have to
Right.
come in, give them the protective gear right now so that they have the confidence to
That's right.
deal with this head on.
These are the initial days of the first few initial cases reported in Jammu and Kashmir, and this needs, of course, to be taken in with utmost priority. Concerns of the doctors here being raised in Srinagar. Mir, many thanks for getting us those inputs.